Greetings, everyone. This is Cassandra Faye Floyd, also known as the Daughter of the Fates, founder of the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. And I'm back again, as I always am. I got some important updates, some things to tell you, some things I want to communicate to you. Yeah, I got a lot going on, and I didn't want to get busy in the head. I didn't want to get busy. So I just have a lot going on. I have a lot to say. And I woke up this morning and greetings, solitaire wisdom. How you doing? I haven't missed your emails, dear. I saw your emails. I just haven't responded to anybody, really. I want to talk to you about quite a few things this morning. And then if you've noticed, I actually scheduled 3 lives today because there's a lot happening. I didn't get to some of the things I planned to get to this past weekend because a lot's happening. 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 So I decided to get up. Let me just tell you how I woke up this morning. Greetings, Lavender Mint Snow. Let me tell you how I woke up this morning. Yeah, I've been here before. I've been in this place before. I woke up this morning in a way. And what I mean by that is when I got up this morning, like right as I woke up, that space between sleep and wake, and felt uncomfortable. I felt the kind of uncomfortable where you feel like the end is near. I don't know if that makes sense, but I felt the kind of uncomfortable like death was near, right? And while I was still in this place between sleep and wake, I don't know. I was just in a way this morning. And so as a way to distract myself from that feeling, I've been feeling this way for some time, for some months. And I haven't even journaled about it because I was trying to avoid it. I was trying to evade it. This feeling that death is near. Like, I don't know, just feeling, I don't know. And I've been dreaming about it a lot. And not just with myself or of myself. Been on it and what I may end up having to do, I'll be honest, I really like the concept of StreamYard, but every time I go back and watch a video of mine, there's these frozen moments because I guess it can't handle the stream or whatever. Anyway, I've been having these moments for about 3 months now, and they just haven't been dreams and moments about myself. I won't go into the who's or whatever, but just feeling this kind of pressure about death being around. Shit, man, this fucking bullshit with StreamYard. Solely streaming from YouTube, because I don't know if like my wife, even when I don't know if my Wi-Fi just can't handle streaming from StreamYard or what. But I'm tired of seeing freezing in my my videos. I may have to do that. I'm gonna go ahead and try to work through this right now, but shit is dumb. Anyway, so in order to distract myself from this feeling that I had this morning, I checked my notifications, and I got a notification. I didn't remember the sister's name to talk about on here, but anyway, I want you guys to know that I always read your comments. I try to always respond. This shit is freaking ridiculous. I always try to respond to. I'm gonna have to stop this shit. This fucking. For those of you tuning on from IG, just bear with me. This damn StreamYard shit is getting out of hand. Yeah, everything's just moving super slow today. Yeah. I don't know why. Okay. Let's see. Maybe I can. Give me a second. I'm trying to see if shit is just really out of control. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. See if that helps. For those that are still able to listen, so what I was saying is, I checked somebody's comment today about one of my videos. And so whenever people send me comments about my videos, and they attach like if they attach like a timestamp, then I will listen. I will re-listen to the video, right? I will re-listen to the video if they attach a timestamp. Okay. All right. So let's see. Soulflower Soul. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. It may have been because I just got the comment this morning. And so I went straight into listening to the timestamp. It was a timestamp from the second reading of the Sibyls by Mama Zogbe. And the timestamp was on a portion. Y'all know I'm notorious for doing very, very long introductions. It's not always my intention, but I always concede that it is me being obedient to spirit. Like, there are times when something comes through that no matter what my intentions are going into, a video, whether it's me reading a book or whatever, where, okay, awesome, great. I'm glad Soulflower Soul. So Soulflower Soul, for those of you who are tuning in through YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook, is saying she's the one that made the comment this morning. Well, I sat and re-listened to at least that portion of the video that she timestamped. And it's got me on one this morning. But I wanted to open by saying that this feeling that I have had for about 3 months now, this feeling that death is near, this feeling that has me, while I'm still groggy, while I'm still sleepy, has me ask myself, am I ready? Like, if it were to happen today, am I ready? Right? Am I as certain in my afterlife as I claim to be? Right? Do I feel like I have done enough for my presence in this life to have been impactful? Really, truly, genuinely impactful? Am I ready? And I'm not trying to bum you out. I'm not trying to scare you or anything like that. I will tell you, I don't think, as a matter of fact, I know that this feeling is not some prophecy or providence or, omen of things to come. I don't. I think I'm going to live to be an old woman. I think I'm almost certain. I mean, I don't want to be arrogant or seem arrogant. That's not what I'm talking about. But I've seen waking visions of myself as a woman with all white hair, as an old woman. But what I think is happening is, I think a couple of things are happening. I think, especially given the conversations that I've been having, with clients and with patients and people who I've been doing readings for, and we're all so intimately connected that we're overwhelmed, is what we're experiencing. We're overwhelmed by what's happening in the world. We always have been, but it's been easier in the past for us to, ignore, for us to avoid, for us to not think about what's happening in the world. The urgency that we're experiencing now, those situations that have been causing the urgency, these situations happening around the world, the multiplicity of genocides happening simultaneously around the world, have always been happening. They've always been there. The thing that is different is that it has been easier in the past for us to ignore them. It's been easier in the past for us to evade. It's been easier in the past for us to turn a blind eye. The distractions, that's not a judgment. The distractions are what allow us to do that. That's what they're for. The distractions have allowed us to ignore, evade, avoid what's always been there. These things that are brought into our awareness now, these things that are brought into our consciousness now, have been there for a very long time. The noise is necessary. The distractions are necessary because these institutions that orchestrate genocide, they orchestrate genocide. Genocide doesn't spontaneously occur. They are just as methodically and mathematically planned as war. They are just as mathematically and methodically planned as government. They are just as mathematically planned and methodically organized and collectively beneficial to those who orchestrate mathematically and methodically these things as the prison industrial complex, as homelessness. I want you to hear what I'm saying. Nothing that exists right now is accidental, is a flaw of the system, is is evidence of the inherent weakness of the system. No. Everything that we experience as a weakness, everything that we experience with some type of urgency, everything that we think is a flaw of the system, a glitch in the system, is mathematically and methodically planned. Everything. Homelessness is not a glitch. It is, it's a tactic. That's what I said. Homelessness is not a glitch. It's a tactic. It is a necessary. It is a necessary, well-constructed and organized occurrence that justifies the need for the system, the need for those to govern us. Homelessness, what do they call it? The housing crisis, subprime mortgage scandal wasn't a glitch. It wasn't a flaw. It was mathematically and methodically planned to do exactly what it did, was to steal and further extract wealth from one group and transfer it to another. Genocide is methodically, mathematically planned, constructed, well organized to do exactly what it does, is to literally steal life and essence from human beings for the benefit, for the material benefit of others. Genocide, baby, let me just listen to what I'm trying to tell you. Genocide is not what we are told it is. Genocide is not about the inherent flaws of groups of people who have fucked up ideas about other groups of people. These are the narratives fed to the masses of us to distract us from what the essence is and the need and the purpose that is planned methodically and mathematically to execute genocide. And that need is dual purpose. Y'all don't want to hear it because y'all are so super strict, political scientists and shit. Y'all don't want to hear what the true need is. The true need is that we are living in an age where the gods of old are dying in real time. I'm just going to tell you what it is. The gods, the multiplicity of gods of war that we have collectively created in our tears and our suffering and our sweating and our pouring out of blood. These are the things that create godheads. And those gods are on their way the fuck out. Those gods are dying in real time. And this vicious thing that we are witnessing around the world is a last-ditch, knee-jerk response of massive blood offerings in an attempt to resurrect that bitch, is in an attempt to rescue that bitch. I am talking to you not just spiritually, because it'll be easy for y'all to check out. Hear me talk about Godheads, hear me talk about the construction of fucking war gods. It'll be easy for you to check out. It'll be easy. But when I am talking to you about the creation of a Godhead and what is needed to do that, what is needed to construct a Godhead, sacrifice, ritual, blood offerings, fear, tears, collective energy is what's required. But once that motherfucker is born, once the Godhead is born, its execution in the world is political. It's a political execution. It's a scientific execution. It is a mathematical and methodical execution of that which keeps it alive. So y'all cannot hear, especially because I have these conversations pretty regular, pretty often, trying so hard to communicate complicated ideas in a way that makes sense to different types of people. There are different types of people. There are people out there who can only hear spirituality. They have no interest in hearing anything political. They have no interest in having any conversation that requires deep philosophical, political logic, science, and history. They don't want to have that conversation. If it is not about spirit and spirituality and what we need to save the world, is we all need to think positive and have positive manifestations every day. And if we just work on the self, if we just work on the one, everything will magically be transformed. They don't want to have a conversation about science and about politics and about history and how history is ever present, how history lives forever. They don't want to have that conversation. And that's okay for right now. And then there's those of you who are strict politicians, who are strict, dogmatic, unyielding, unbending, unevolved political scientists. All you care about is history and the science of evolution. You cannot hear a conversation about astrology as a science. You can't hear a conversation about spirit as a science, as the language of science. Can't hear that. You cannot hear a conversation, have a discussion about how spirituality as we know it, all of it, everywhere on earth, was a way to communicate the entirety of the human experience in a way that everyone could understand. That science and scientific phenomena was not separate from the expression of spirituality. Now, where our ancestors were concerned, and vice versa, for that matter. But y'all can't hear that. Y'all cannot hear both on each spectrum, and all the spectrums in between, for that matter. Y'all can't hear that we have to be made whole. And to be made whole, we have to think holistically. We have to understand science. We have to understand history. We have to understand mathematics. We have to understand methodology. We have to understand spirituality as something that exists in the material realm. Spirituality don't exist in a fucking vacuum. Spirituality exists right here, right now, in the material world. That's what it does. And so when your Bible says that Jesus told his disciples or the masses or whatever, that where two or more of you meet, there I will be. That's old. That's not, Jesus didn't say that. The ancients said that, sitting around a fire in the first ceremony. Before we could even communicate with each other with our mouths, we understood something bigger emerged from us when we sat in song around the fire. Something that happens when we come into space together that emerges from us, that is created collectively from us and becomes bigger than us and feeds us in return. We create it, we generate it, it becomes bigger and then feeds us in return. This is the creation of the Godhead. That's what that means. That's what that means. I don't even know how I got on that because that was not what I came on here to talk to y'all about today. But I'm going to tell you, I know why I am experiencing what I am experiencing. I know why I woke up this morning uneasy in my body, feeling like death is near. I know why that happened. I know why it's been on me and I've been constantly avoiding it. Since the turn of the new year, I'm telling you, I wake up these days often with this pressure, like what I feel one must experience when they are actually nearing the end. I'm telling you, the only other time that I have felt this, that I am feeling all the time now, like frequently, like at least twice a week, I am waking up this way since we entered the new year. The only time I have ever felt this way in my waking self was when I almost died in that car accident in 2016. When I almost died in that car accident in 2016, and I let go of the wheel because I knew it was over. I knew it was the end. That is the only time that I have felt what I have been experiencing regularly since. And I haven't said this to I haven't even written it in my journal in an attempt to avoid. But today I could not avoid it. And I'm going to tell you what it is. We all are wide the fuck open. We don't have a choice. We are wide open. We are wide open. This is what the year demands. It's not synchronicities, baby. I'm sorry. It's not. I'm telling Soulflower, you say, do you think it's physical death or something else? I'm trying to communicate to you that I know I'm not the only one experiencing it. I just got off a phone call yesterday with this woman who was sobbing for an hour, expressing exactly what I'm experiencing. But she is subdued. She is subdued. I have had 3 conversations in the last week that mirror that one. I have had several conversations with others in the last month that have mirrored that one, that are experiencing what I am experiencing, even if they don't articulate it the same way. The urgency, the pressure, the fear. And that's what I've been trying to convince them all of. It is not our own. It is not my own death that I woke up plagued by this morning. The urgency, the intensity of that which happened in that car accident in 2016 that I almost died in. That, oh my God, this is it. And then the calm comes over. And I had been saying for some time that it felt like what some people call the call of the void. And that's probably an aspect of it. But I am telling you what it is. We, whether we are conscious of it or not, is not the issue. Because it's easy to say, oh, it's those spiritual people like us who've been doing the spiritual work, right? Us who have been doing all the things and all the manifestations and the prayers and the ceremony and it's every fucking body. Everyone awake. Everyone, and I ain't talking about conscious awake. I'm talking about everybody breathing. I'm telling you, that's what it is. Now, those of us who've been doing the work, the prayers, the manifestations, the rituals, the ceremony is deeper for us, but everyone is wide the fuck open. Whether they want to be or not, don't matter. Because the thing that I am experiencing, like I did this morning, it manifests itself in different ways. The rage, the radical insanity that we see in so-called right-wingers and, evangelical extremists and radical Republicans and all of that shit, the rage, the anger, the insanity that we see in them, they're experiencing it too. This is the way it manifests in them. The urgency that drives them insane, the urgency that they somehow won't exist or the end is near for them, or that Jesus is coming back for the church, or whatever the fuck, they are experiencing it too. And in the absence of anything that's explaining this urgency in them, their default is radicalism, it's extremism, it's fundamentalism. They're experiencing it too, because we live on this fucking planet together. We live on this earth together, and we live on this earth together in the twinkling stage of our entry into Aquarius, which guarantees that we will all feel. We will all feel. We will all be infected. We will all be affected by one another. That's what the period guarantees. We don't have a choice. And so the urgency that we feel in our bodies, baby, I be sitting up in here. You understand what I'm saying? And it's such, the dichotomy is so deep, yo. It's deep because I love so deeply. I'm telling y'all, I am so fucking certain. I want to thank you, Soulflower Soul, baby. I want to thank you for drawing my attention to this word the mother had for me this morning through what you brought my attention to and something I said almost a year ago. That's how she does. I don't remember half of what the fuck I tell y'all. I don't remember half of what the hell I say when I come up in here on a tangent. That's why I go back. When somebody draws my attention to something that I said in a live 2 years ago, I know it's the mother drawing my attention to something that she wanted me to refocus on. That's what that video that you drew my attention to this morning did. So even though I thought it was me trying to distract myself from this feeling that I woke up in this morning, this feeling that the end is near, that death is coming. Oh my fucking God. That even though I tried to distract myself with this video, it affirmed what I laid the fuck up in bed looking at the goddamn ceiling trying to avoid. Here I was using the video. Okay, cool. I got myself a little notification about one of my videos, what somebody had to say. And then the piece that she sent me, the timestamp that she sent me, which equaled 99, by the way, the timestamp that she sent me. You understand? Literally drawing myself deeper into what I was trying to avoid in the first place. Listen, baby, I don't know how many ways I can say this shit. I do not know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know the answers. I don't. I don't have the answers. All I have is a conviction. I don't know what's next. All I have is a conviction that I am certain of. All I have that's all I got. That's all I got. I came on here to give y'all some updates. I was going to give y'all the deep shit later, but I'm going to tell you, Spirit is on me fucking today. I felt really guilty this weekend because I'd promised I was going to do some readings for you guys. I was going to help prepare you for the new moon in Pisces. And the new moon in Pisces is kicking my motherfucking ass. Now, I don't know about the rest of y'all, but the new moon in Pisces is handing me my whole shit. Handing me my whole shit. Has been for the last week. I was like, God damn, this shit gonna be deep. I'm trying in my head, in my consciousness, in my fucking default, yo. Okay, I gotta do this. I gotta do that. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. I gotta. You understand? I did that all motherfucking week last week. I did the Harriet Tubman event on Saturday. I'll be honest. So much has been happening. I just sat here to look at my calendar last night to try to organize my motherfucking frantic thoughts. I was like, it's motherfucking March, bitch. And this year has already been off the chain. I done did the work of 100 motherfuckers in the last 2 months. I was like, and this ain't the way. That's the thing. This ain't the way. This is not the way. And so all week, everything was applicable last week. I swear to God, yo. I'm like trying to avoid my head. Literally trying to distract myself in bullshit, yo. Literally. And every time I went to just check a fucking Facebook message, there I am. There she is. Like, bitch, there is no avoiding me. Huh? There ain't no avoiding me. There ain't no avoiding me. Me getting busy to avoid. And something the fuck happens. And she's like, bitch, there ain't no avoiding me. I'm telling you, the last week was off the chain. I'm sitting here trying. Yeah. Ooh. Let me tell you what happened yesterday. And that didn't even put it within the context of all the other shit that's been happening to me over the last week. Let me tell you what happened to me yesterday. I didn't even think about it until just now. I'm going to make an admission. I'm going to confess to y'all is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a confession is what I'm about to do. I'm about to put my shit on blast right here on this shit, on this motherfucking internet. There is a guy that I had been having sex with for a very long time when I got here. And I really enjoyed having sex with this guy. I really did. And even though our relationship it wasn't like boyfriend, girlfriend. That's literally the context of our relationship. We had sex. We had great sex. We had it regularly for some time. And then what usually happens, and I'm telling you, these are one of my shadows that I'm confessing right now. Because sex has been the thing that has given me satisfaction in the absence of meaningful relationships. So I enjoy sex. You know, I enjoy it a lot. There aren't too many things that I can name that I enjoy more. I enjoy my body, and I enjoy my body when it's being enjoyed by others, right? And so we had great sex. This guy and I, we had nothing in common, little in common. And, there are certain points and times, and I'll tell you, this has been one of my weaknesses because I enjoy sex and I recognized at first I thought it was just me, right? It was like I'm a big girl or I'm black or I got nappy hair or whatever that did not allow for me to be in truly meaningful relationships. Men always want to have sex with me, but men, and I've heard other women say this, so this isn't something odd. Men do not see me as the one to show off, to prop on arm and, adore in public. That's always been the case. I always assumed that it was because I've always been a big girl. There ain't no period. You can look back 30 years of my life. I've been a big girl since I was 10. Big. You feel me? And so I just always assumed, because of the noise of society, that that was the case. Yeah. There have only been maybe two relationships in my adult life. And I've been in other relationships, but two relationships in my life where I felt like the partner that I was with enjoyed or took pride in being seen with me, right? Where they treated me like they won in this relationship with me until they didn't, you feel me? Until, they, were unfaithful or, the motive or whatever. That always happens. And so I've always been, and I was, I'll tell you, because of my conditioning, I was like, you know what? It don't even faze me none. Listen, as long as I get laid well and regularly, do you, bitch. I'm not gonna walk around here in my feeling some kind of way because a motherfucker don't want to, show me off or flaunt me or whatever. Is whatever. What's for me is coming to me. That was my position. Even though, in the back of my mind, my little girl was just like hurt by that, right? So that was the situation with this guy. And I understood why. I mean, we weren't from the same culture. He was Mexican. And he wasn't stereotypical Mexican. The few times that we did go out together because it was a sexual relationship. That's what we established from the beginning. That's how we met. I met him on Tinder. I met him because I wanted to get laid. Okay. And so, it's getting hot in here. So anyway, so we had great sex and I was okay with that. As long as you lay me well and don't be fucking with my goddamn emotions, like I'm good. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't happen. What always happens is it's their conditioning too. So I was never angry. I was just frustrated. I believe it's their conditioning too. I don't think all men are bad. I don't. What I think is that their conditioning is deep, just like our conditioning is deep. And without a mass explanation of why they behave the way that they do, they're dicks. They're not fun people. They're not nice people, And I believe that's their conditioning. I don't think all men are evil. I think there are varying degrees of how they comply and express their conditioning. And he wasn't exempt from that. We were having a great time, great sex, wonderful sex all the time. He was such a show off in bed. I appreciate that. I respect that. I'm getting to a point. Make no mistake, I'm not off topic. And so there was a time in our relationship, maybe after about 3 months, where he starts saying shit like, I love you. Right. And Now, let me tell you why I got an attitude about that. Because love is a weapon. Because love is a weapon. And I already knew that. Love is used by men as a weapon. And so, in the absence of any behavior that would inform me that that statement was genuine, now you suspect. Like, why are you saying that? Why are you telling me you love me? Because what you're doing is fucking with my sex life right now. Because once love is brought into the equation where there's no evidence that it exists, it would be different if we had been having conversations about deepening our relationship or what we imagine for ourselves for the future, or none of them discussions happen. Maybe we would get together, we would hang out, we would have sex, we would part ways, and maybe we would see each other in a week, or maybe we would see each other in a month. But in the absence of any demonstrations of love, now you're playing with me. What do you want? That's where my default is, because I already know that's what it is. When you start using love in a relationship where love, there's no evidence of love, you want something from me and you're trying to soften me to yield that, right? And when I didn't respond, because I cared about him, that's how I am. I love everybody. So it's not impossible. It's not outside the realm of possibility for me to have loved this man. I cared about him deeply because I was allowing him into my body pretty regularly. And even though I'm a hard ass and I present that way, I'm a very soft-hearted woman. I am a very big-hearted woman. I love love. I love love making. I love everything about how that feels in my body. I have loved, now I'm going to make a statement that y'all ain't going to want to hear. I have loved every single man that I have had sex with in one degree or another. I know that's a crazy statement. Even that motherfucker that had me go celibate for a year and a half, I still love him as a human. I do. I know that's hard to hear. Doesn't mean I would ever allow him into my space. Doesn't mean, but I can still say, love the African from afar. You feel me? My ex-husband, who was a diabolical creature, I would never wish harm on him. I wouldn't. You know, he didn't beat me up. He didn't fuck me up. He was a diabolical human being, but I wouldn't wish harm on him. You understand what I'm saying? So yes, to love this guy as a person and more. I loved him because we shared a certain amount of intimacy for 3 years. We did. But that early on in that stage, I'm getting to a point, I promise. Early on in that, and I have to say this, I guess this is like my purge, my confession. I need it because I hadn't said this to anybody. And it was something happened yesterday. So all of these complications, you know what I'm saying? Now he's triggering my fucking insecurities with this bullshit. Now I've got trust issues because he didn't put love into an equation. He didn't put the word love into an equation where it's never even, it actually freed up my ability to enjoy sex deeper when I knew that there were no complications, when I knew that there was nothing I had to think about, you know, like I had to plot or I had to think about, well, why hasn't he texted me, or why? I didn't have to think about any of that because I knew what it was. I knew what it was right away. And so now you done brought love into the equation and you've complicated my sex life. That's what you've done. Now I have to be thinking, okay, well, where's this? I have to be thinking this because you can't be straight. I have to be thinking about, where's this coming from? Why now? Like, what did I do different? Like, what the fuck is what's going on with him in his personal life? Is it something I need to check in with him on? Do I really want to know that much about his life? You feel me? Exactly. Soul Flower Soul understands. She's like, yes, bitch. What's your motive? What the fuck do you want with me? What you playing at right now? What you playing at right now? Because now I got an attitude because you fucking with my sex life. Now when we're having sex, now when we're making love, these are the things that now are going to be fumbling through my goddamn file cabinets, trying to figure out what the fuck you trying to pull on me and when. Do I need to expect it? When I didn't respond, I guess in the way that he expected I would respond. Because when he said that, when he said, I love you, my response was, I care about you too. Right? Exactly. Soul flower soul. Like, nigga, is you the police? Who is you? She said, who sent you? I'm like, yes. All of these things I start to factor in. You feel me? So I'm giving y'all the backstory because I've never even talked about him, live. And I cared about the guy. And then when I didn't respond in the way that he expected, I guess, his behavior started to change. And this behavior, now we're all talking about it because we all got the psychological 411, you feel me? And so he started retracting affection. He started parceling out sex. He started parceling out his time with me. Now, where it had been in the early phases, we were having sex once or twice a week. Now I might hear from him twice a month, right? Then the space became more, right? And so now I'm frustrated because I don't need, and I know that plays with y'all fucking emotions as men, but the only thing I need, this is a deep and profound need, bitch. The only thing I need is to be laid well and regularly. That's all I need from a man. That's all I need, is to be laid well and regularly, right? I just hate the idea that we have to play games. We have to, this shit has to be a contest. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. You give me what you want to give me because you recognize who I am and the importance of that. If you're not giving it willingly and because you recognize the importance of who I am, keep it. But plotting and scheming, I'm not, and I don't knock no woman who feels the need to do that. Do what you got to do. Motherfucker, we make less than men, we earn less than men, we have been fucking valuelessness has been imposed. You do what the fuck you have to do. If you feel like you need to do that shit to get what you need from men, baby, when I tell you I do not judge at all. I got too much shit to do in the world to be playing games with motherfuckers. I'm not interested in games, strategies, and tactics on affection. It's gross to me. I'm not doing it. That's right, T. Run the pockets. That's the evidence. That's all. I'm not begging a bitch for shit. I'm not contorting. You feel me? I'm not a contortionist. I'm not bending, folding, none of that. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it. I'm not playing nicer than I am. I'm not bridling my fucking tongue. I've done all of that shit. I've done that. And so this guy, yes, Kamara, he was losing control of himself, so he attempted to control you, but you ain't for all of it. But let me just tell you, Kamara, because I need to go ahead and wrap up this point. It got to a point where, the ghosting was enough, the time in between our time together, and I was too compliant. I'll tell you this. I was too compliant. I enjoyed having sex with him. And I'm going to tell you, it's circumstantial why I was so compliant. I told y'all, sex out here is whack as fuck. It's dismal. It is demoralizing. There ain't when I tell you in 6 years, there is not a single solitary woman that I have met since I have been here who has not said the same thing. That their sexual contact with men that was great, listen, paled in comparison to those interactions that were fucking piss poor, dismal, and demoralizing. And I always say that there is nothing that makes a woman feel sexier than sexy sex. Do you understand what I mean? There's nothing that makes a woman feel sexier than sexy sex. And the opposite is the same. It's equal. It's equal for the opposite. There is nothing that makes a woman feel more demoralized, more energy drained, more self-questioning, more angry, more frustrated than lousy fucking sex. Nothing. I can't think of it. Even having a white ass boss barking over my ear. I can't even imagine that that's worse than fucking lousy sex. I can't. It literally is the definition of vampirism. Like, what the fuck are you here for other than to fucking drain me energetically? That's what it feels like. And every woman, wealthy and poor alike, baby. Wealthy and poor alike. I went to go work on this woman at her house. Woman got a goddamn $3 million house. Beautiful house. Beautiful woman. Like Middle Eastern or something. Beautiful woman. Live in Beverly Hills. Baby, and that's all she talked about for the whole hour I was with her. That she moved here from New York. She was like, what the fuck is wrong with men in California? She's like, do they all lay? I didn't even initiate the discussion. I'm just there to work with her, in treatment. She's like, what the fuck is wrong with men out here? She had only been here a few months, maybe 6 months or so. She's like, does every man lay poorly out this bitch? She said, I've never been more frustrated in my life. She said, do you know that I am, tell me this ain't what I told y'all. She said, do you know I'm flying to New York once a month to get laid well? That I know I have somebody there that as soon as I come home, he gonna tighten me up. I was doing the same thing when I first got here. I was going to fucking Atlanta 2 to 3 times a year just to get laid well and come the fuck back to California. I'm not lying. It's like that. It's like that. And so that's why I put up with so much from this man energetically, especially when the manipulation started. So when he started retracting affections, not calling as often, but when he did call, it was all like, just like it was in the beginning. What do we call that? Breadcrumbing, right? Just like it was in the beginning. Every time we had sex, all the way up until the last time we had sex. Always. Baby, when I say he was a show off, I love that. I love it. I love a shit talker. Yes. Talk shit. Yes. Pull my fucking hair. I'm about it all. I love a shit talking motherfucker. I love a motherfucker who fucks me like he's got something to prove every time. And that's how he was. Like he got some shit to prove. Like, bitch, I'm gonna show you. And I'm there for it. I'm there for it. Show me. You understand? My big old ass, he folded my ass up like a motherfucking pretzel and shit. Yup. All of that. All the things. Right? It's been... Oh, and so what happened was he's Mexican, right? And he's good looking. He's really, really easy on the eyes. He's really easy on the eyes. And so it's been It's been, what was it, Mark? It's been 2 years. It's been 2 years since we had sex. It's been 2 years. Hell, it's been damn near 2 years since we spoke to each other. But it's definitely been 2 years since we had sex, right? Baby, I woke up yesterday just like I did today, looking at the ceiling in that space between sleep and wake with this fucking pressure like an elephant sitting on my goddamn chest. With that feeling I was trying to avoid, like death is near. It's 6 o'clock while I'm looking at the ceiling and my phone rings. First of all, I always silence my phone at night. So the first thing I thought was like, damn, I thought I silenced my phone. Who the fuck calling me this early? Baby, I haven't talked to this motherfucker in 2 years. How about yesterday? Actually, I talked to him but it was some bullshit. You know, he called me talking about, he inboxed me talking about, I got a friend that needs some treatment. That was like 6 months ago, and I never heard back from him. But since we talked audibly on the phone, it's been 2 years. How about while I'm sitting there looking at my motherfucking ceiling at 6 o'clock in the morning, this motherfucker calls me yesterday. This motherfucker called me yesterday, baby, yesterday, let me tell you. And I'm going to tell y'all something y'all ain't going to want to hear, child. He called me yesterday after all this time. I didn't ask any questions. He said, I want to see you. Can you come see me today? And I said, yes. And I got up. No questions asked, baby. I got up. I got dressed. And the whole time I'm like, don't do it. Don't go. Don't do it. Don't go. Don't do it. Don't go. And where I had to go see him was far away. It was about an hour and a half drive. The whole drive there, I'm like, why am I driving here? Why am I going? Why am I doing this? I pulled up. He got into my car. We drove off. And we talked. I parked and we talked. And it was bullshit. You know, it was like chit chat talk. It was like catching up after 2 years, right? And I'll tell you, most women will tell you, when you find somebody that takes the time every time to lay you well, and what I mean by lay you well is to ensure that you are good and well fed sexually. That makes sure you're done. That makes sure you are good, right? That's a rare subject. That's a rare motherfucker these days. You feel me? That makes sure that when you part ways, you are happy with the time that you spent. You understand? He was one of those guys. So I'm certain that is what kept me involved with him as long as I had been. 3 years is a long time. You understand? 3 years. I was married 3 years. You feel me? 3 years is a long time. And yeah. And so when I saw him yesterday, it was so clear. And when I brought it up this moment, because I did not think about it until this moment, it was so clear that I needed to see him yesterday. Because even though we haven't talked in 2 years, it didn't feel done. We had not talked in 2 years. So much has happened in 2 years. I have established a new religion for all intents and purposes. You know, I've had these highs and lows. My mama got sick. My baby moved. My kids, my grandbabies left. A lot has happened in 2 years. I changed my name. So much has happened in 2 years. And yet it did not feel done. It didn't feel closed. It didn't feel done. Because 3 years is a long time to give someone your body, to give someone access to your energy, to give someone yourself, for it to just kind of, you know what I'm saying? So when I went to see him yesterday, we talked for 20 minutes, maybe 30. I'll give him 30. We talked for 30 minutes. It was bullshit chit chat, you know. just catching up, right? But something was different. Like, it felt done. It felt done. And when we parted ways, I just felt like, I just felt relief. I felt like relief. That's all I felt. We didn't have sex, for those of you who may be wondering. I didn't give him no ass. You understand what I'm saying? I did not give him no ass, right? But it felt, I needed it. Because we are still in the energy, in the peak energy of this new moon in Pisces, which is the last new moon of the year, as we going into next week, this motherfucking equinox, and then followed a week after that by the goddamn blood moon, and followed a week after that by this goddamn solar eclipse that we won't see again for another 44 years. There's a lot of monumentally enormous, magnanimous, big ass, weighty ass, heavy ass energy. Close up the shit that needs closing. Pay attention to your dreams. They are purposeful and meaningful right now. That's why she been riding my fucking ass in these dreams, right? I told you the story about him because I haven't made another admission that I'm going to make. I told y'all, I've been telling y'all for a long time, I've been celibate. I've been celibate for a little over a week and a half. T says, so what you telling me is that I'm going to be crying for the next few weeks. That ain't your destiny, girl. You better jump on top of the horse, grab a hold of the motherfucking reins, and guide that bitch. Don't let her run you around. Be deliberate about what the fuck you trying to execute in the next few weeks. Yes, it might be painful as you are doing it, but don't let that bitch run you. You better run that bitch. So let me tell you, I have another confession to make, and I actually started to tell y'all a few weeks ago, and then I decided against it. But I'm gonna tell you, I've been celibate for about a year and a half, and I told you why. Well, I lost my virginity, y'all. I lost my virginity. My year and a half stint with celibacy is officially over. Okay. And how it happened and why it happened and with whom it happened is not important at all. Right. But when I tell you, I learned so much in that interaction with that man. I learned so much in that interaction with that man. I learned so much about me. I learned so much more about what I require. I learned so much more even about how my body has changed in terms of its desire and its need to be satisfied, but not just satisfied, adored. Adored. Yep. And I'm going to tell you something else. I have been tempted through the year and a half. So don't get it twisted. It ain't like I've been in here like a monk or some shit, just steady in my discipline about not having sex. That ain't been the case at fucking all. It's not been the case at all. I have been tempted many times. I've been approached many times in the year and a half, by really good looking men. I'm going to tell you what else happened in that year and a half. I didn't realize it. Because it started with rage. My decision to become celibate started with rage. I was so fucking angry. I was so fucking angry at my last sexual encounter. Baby, I'm telling you, I felt violated. I felt violated. I felt like not just my time, I felt my spirit had been violated by that interaction. And I didn't realize how deeply, because I was so blinded by just straight red rage, that I didn't realize how hurt I was by that experience, how much that experience traumatized me that a grown fucking man, knowing who I am, would show so little care for my body in a sexual encounter. I did not realize how upset I was, how enraged I was, how hurt I was by that. And then that hurt turned to fear. I did not realize that for a long time, because every time I talked about sex, my default was the rage, right? Was the rage that gave rise to me making the commitment to myself that I needed to take some time off. I needed to fucking break, right? And so it took me months to even realize that fear had taken up space, that fear of betrayal, man, fear of betrayal had taken up space in my heart, and I did not even realize it. I did not even realize it until these opportunities that had arisen throughout this a year and a half that I was celibate. And I was tempted, like, yes, okay, that motherfucker can get it. You feel me? Like, that motherfucker fine, his swag is crazy. And then something would take precedence, and it'd be like, nope, nope, no. It was fear of betrayal. Because to me, sex isn't just a spiritual act. And Abasi and I, Kamara, and I talked extensively about my inability to express for a long time that I had separated in our political life that sex is a political statement. It's a political expression as well as a spiritual expression, as well as an emotional expression. You communicate to a human being how you feel about them by how you engage them sexually. So it's a problem. And I didn't understand for a long time that you can tell when a man is genuinely a misogynist, when he genuinely hates women, by how he lays you. Even so-called self-proclaimed progressive men, even so-called self-proclaimed revolutionary men, how they show up for you in this act where you allow them into your body tells you everything if you care to listen. It tells you everything. And so I was, baby, when I tell you I was subdued by this experience, by this encounter with this spiritual, politically progressive, African conscious man who fucking betrayed me in the act. That's what it was. It was an act of betrayal is what it was. And so when I decided that for a year and a half I would be celibate, I had not reckoned with the fact that that betrayal had instilled in me a massive sense of fear. My power is my own. And to allow someone into my space, into the center of my power, for them to betray me, baby, in that moment, I'll be honest, I wanted him dead. I wanted him dead. I was so angry. When I tell you, all I experienced was rage. That's all I could see was rage. And so in these interactions subsequent to that, over the year and a half that I remained celibate, fear was what took hold. After the rage had ebbed, I was fearful. And so even when I was tempted, I was like, nope, it can't happen. I was fearful too that I was going to end up out this bitch celibate forever, because I didn't trust anyone that presented themselves to me. No one in a year and a half. No one. And then I had this experience recently. And yeah, I was thankful to the mother. I was thankful to the mother, baby. Let me tell you why. Because she knew what I needed. She knew what I needed my first sexual encounter to be. She knew. She knew. Because even this person that presented himself was so outside the realm of that which I am attracted to, have ever found myself attracted to. We are like oil and water. We are like day and night. We have nothing in common in any way, shape, or form, child. Nothing. And opportunity is what allowed for that to happen. And I also have I don't like to play games. I don't play games. And some women have told me that's a serious weakness. It's a serious flaw on my part, is that I don't play games. I don't have time for games. I don't. Y'all know me. I'm trying to change the fucking world. I'm not trying to change the world. I am going to change the world. Everything that we know that will be radically transformed, and I will have a stamp on how that happened. There will be many of us who will, but I am conscious of it. I am aware of it, and I'm certain of it. So I don't play games. I shouldn't have to hide, counterfeit, camouflage any part of who I am to get what I need and deserve. I won't do it. I won't do it. So for me to be in space with this person, there were moments where I hesitated letting go completely in the act, letting go completely, right? Because it's new too. We don't know each other that way. We don't know each other like intimately or personally. So in an attempt to protect myself, to guard myself, to shield myself, there were moments where I attempted to turn in, to camouflage, to conceal. And then there was a moment where I recognized where I could completely let go in the act, where I could completely relax in the act, be fully unbridled and fully present in the act. And I'm going to tell you, there is another thing that I almost did. I almost concealed how much I was enjoying the act, because love and sex are used as weapons against women. So for you to reveal how much you are enjoying the act is like, in their mind, you yielding territory. It's like, I'm just telling you, man. We've talked about this in The Great Cosmic Mother. We've talked about this in Pure Lust. We've talked about this in the Secrets and Myths, the Women's Encyclopedia of Myths and Secrets. How because of their conditioning, they have been conditioned from day one, from birth, to see sex and love as instruments, weapons that they can use to conquer territory. And when we yield pleasure, when we reveal pleasure, they see it as a victory. They see it as a victory in a war that is always going to win them territory. So knowing this, in the act, I attempted to conceal how much I was enjoying the act. And then there was a moment, I don't know, I can't pinpoint what it is or what happened that was different. But there was a moment where that block was removed, where I was like, okay, I am going to lean into this. And what is what is. You know what I'm saying? Like in that interaction and in that specific moment, I fully trusted this person just in the moment to do everything that I needed. To do everything that I needed. I had been celibate for 1.5 years. The act leading up to that celibacy, to that decision, was ultimate fucking betrayal. Ultimate betrayal. And in this moment where I lost my virginity again, this person restored my faith. I know it sounds deep, y'all. Y'all just have to walk with me. This is this Pisces, this new moon in Pisces shit that has been burdening the fuck out of me. Okay? That in this moment, this person undid the fear, the rage, and the sense of betrayal that had preceded me making this commitment to myself that I was going to not have sex for as long as I felt it was right. That happened. And I've been sitting on that for some time. I've been wanting to share that with you guys because it changed every fucking thing. Doesn't mean I'm about to run out and start buck wilding, because LA still is not the place that a motherfucker can have enjoyful, like enthusiastic, exciting one night stands. That can't happen here. That can't happen here. So it's not like I'm gonna be out in the world, you know, trying to get a fix. That can't happen. Not out here. Not without some kind of fucking sexual revolution. Not without 1 million motherfucking women in this city making the same commitment that I made, that until you motherfuckers show up right, y'all can't have sex. Y'all can't get laid. Not, at least not with us. At least not with us. And what I mean by us is uterus carrying human beings who carry in our uteruses all of the potentialities of all of the goddamn universe that you fucking shit on and betray and demote. Not us. Now, have sex with whoever the fuck else you need to. Each other. Whatever. But those of us who carry all the goddamn potentialities of all the dimensions of the entire universe in our fucking bodies, not us. Not us. Go somewhere with us. Go somewhere else with that shit. Not us. Not me. Now let 1 million motherfucking womb holding women in this motherfucking city say, from this day to this day, can't nobody get none. And then maybe on all after the fact, y'all will step into space like you are stepping into ceremony. You will approach the act with the fucking reverence that you would showing up in ceremony. And until you learn how to do that, and I ain't talking about no ritualistic shit either. I am talking about what I experienced with this man a few weeks ago. I came so much. They're probably not going to let me air this, but I had so many effortless orgasms. Child. So many. When I tell you effortless orgasms. To breathe through, completely through, unstuck in my throat chakra, unstuck in my heart chakra, unstuck in my fucking solar plexus, unstuck in my navel chakra, in my root chakra. You completely unstuck, unobstructed by overthinking, hesitations, fear, rage, completely unstuck. I came so fucking much. I thought I was going to die. I'll be honest. I thought I was going to die that night. I thought I was going to die. Just when I thought I was done, I was coming again. And this went on all goddamn night. And I'm not one of them women that have ever been, you know, stereotypically a marathon runner. You feel me? I can have really great and radical sex for 30 minutes, boo, and I'm good. I can go to sleep. many orgasms in that 30 minutes and be good. You know, guys who feel like, they got to pound on you for an hour. That's never been my thing. That's not what happened here. That's not what happened here. That's not what happened here. You understand? And it was an all-night affair. It was an all-night goddamn affair. I came so much. And I needed that. I needed that particular experience. The newness of it all. The fact that we were both so open about articulating what our needs were, what we enjoyed, what we needed from each other. It was the first time in a very long time where I felt like it was genuinely grown up sex. Two human beings who mutually respected one another before that was even an issue or a question. Two human beings who mutually respected each other, and that translated in the act. There wasn't anything that he hid from me in terms of what he needed, nor did I. I hesitated in the beginning, but nor did I. You understand? And baby, the goddess blessed me for it. She sure did. I came so often, so much, in so many unexpected ways, yo. It was great. And I am so thankful for it. Now, so anyway, I wanted to share that. What time is it? Shit. I didn't intend to be on here this long. But let me tell you, it's still related to how we opened. It's still related to how we opened. This heaviness, this pressure that we're feeling, this energy, that this new moon that happened on Sunday, baby, I went out to the water. I made an offering. I got in that cold, bitterly, viciously cold Pacific Ocean, dunked my whole body in that joint, felt instantly new. But I also know, and you should know, I felt guilty because I was so busy this weekend. I did the Harriet Tubman event this weekend. It wasn't a well attended, but baby, the epiphanies that came from the few people that came, baby, spirit was moving through that place so heavy. It was so deep. And I wasn't even attempting whatever. It was deep, deep, deep what happened on Saturday at that event for Harriet Tubman. And I will be honest, in a way I don't want to admit, because there had been so little feedback about the event. The day of, I was like, I'm just going to make a whole big old announcement. I'm going to cancel it. I'm going to put it on the invite, the Eventbrite. I'm just going to cancel it. I'm not going to do it. Because I was like, ain't nobody responding. Ain't nobody coming. When I got there to set up the building, right? There was nobody there. I was like, okay, well, I'd made up my mind. If I have the building for 4 hours anyway, if nobody comes, I will just use this as an opportunity to study. And I was going to do a temple service. I was actually going to do a live and do a temple service. I had the altar set up. I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm just going to do a temple service from this building that I have for 4 hours. No biggie, right? Just as I went to go live, you guys, because this was an hour later, just as I went to go live, somebody came in. I was like, oh my gosh, right? Cool. So the sister came in and, I was explaining, I was like, well, I was actually about to go live and do a temple service because nobody wasn't here. It's an hour after the event supposedly started. I was like, ain't nobody coming. So I'm just going to do some writing and do a live. And she was like, well, can I ask you some questions before you go live? I was like, sure. Then 2 more people came in, 2 brothers. And that was it. It was three people that came. But baby, when I tell you they had to kick us out of the building, they came in, started turning the lights off on. It was great. It was a really good, deep discussion. There was an elder there. One of the brothers was an elder. One of the brothers was very young, like 21, 22. And then the sister was around my age, half Chinese, half Black. It was a good discussion, and it needed to happen. And because Harriet Tubman is one of the examples, in my estimation, of what I was talking to you guys about earlier. The need to be whole humans, holistically thinking humans. Harriet was not just a spiritualist. Harriet wasn't just a Christian. Harriet was a scientist. Harriet was a mathematician. Even though she couldn't read and write, Harriet was an elder. Harriet was a seer. Harriet was a Sibyl. Harriet was a liberator. Harriet was a general in the military. Harriet was a master strategist and tacticianer. She understood history. She understood science. She understood math. Even if she couldn't articulate that understanding, it was she who led the raid down the river, because she had walked that river to know where all the mines were, so that the Northerners could navigate the river without hitting the mines in the water. That takes mathematical precision. That's what that does. She is the example of a holistically existing human. You see, that's what we have to be. The unfortunate part of Harriet's life was that she was not allowed joy. She was not allowed and afforded pleasure. She was not allowed and afforded rest. She was not allowed and afforded the time to integrate. She was moving in strict urgency her whole life, moving in strict urgency. That's what she was doing. Those of us, especially living in the West, those of us melanated women existing in the West, we have a peculiar task to execute. It's peculiar because people like Harriet and Fannie Lou Hamer and Ella Baker and Ida B. Wells and the nameless many indigenous female revolutionaries and the many nameless female Mexica revolutionary women who created time for us that we have not yet seized, who afforded us rest that we do not yet take advantage of, who have done the struggles and paved the way for the clarity that is needed for spirit to move through us. What does our deck say? The deck of the medicine woman say? It is only through a well-rested you that I do my best work. See, our best work doesn't come through an urgency. We acquire a fucking narrative that says, well, I work best under pressure. You feel me? I work best with a deadline. You feel me? Bullshit. That is the narrative of the oppressor, to convince you of the necessity of being a masterful multitasker. That's another lesson I learned this weekend. To get you fucking back on the rat wheel of constantly executing from one thing to another, from one crisis to another, from one event to another, from one task to another. Do the things over here, do the things over here, do the things over here, do the things over here. Why? Because you cannot be clear. You cannot be still. You cannot be well rested doing that. You may be able to execute in crisis, like Harriet did. She executed in urgency. She executed in crisis. You may be able to execute in crisis. You may be able to get all the tasks done that you are task mastering. Are you dreaming while that's happening? Are you visioning while that is happening? Is your ability to be a fully embodied Sibyl, are you capable of being a fully embodied psychic Sibyl? Task mastering, crisis managing, chronic problem solving, ambulance chasing, always responding to, living in a consistent state of urgency? Can you hear fully the power and the depth with which the mother can speak to and through us in a constant state of urgency? This is what our foremothers have afforded us, that we are betraying them when we do not. Baby, let me tell you, I have a habit right now. Even though I have not mastered the art, I have established a habit right now, because I used to feel guilty about taking naps. Damn, I could have used that time to... Now, you know what I say before I lay down to take a nap in the middle of the day? Even if that nap is 3 hours long, so I don't wake up feeling guilty about my nap. My ancestors needed this nap. I'm taking this nap for the naps that were denied my mama, my grandmama, my big mama, my great grandmothers, my aunties. I'm taking this nap right now for all those who could not rest, who were denied rest, who were tormented because they needed rest, who were beaten to deny them rest. I'm taking a nap right now because, honey, let me tell you, the debt is large. The debt is massive, it's gargantuan. It continues to grow. I want you to know that I am coming back for everything that was stolen from the mothers, all the way back to the beginning of this experiment called patriarchy. Everything that was stolen from the mothers, I am reclaiming. Everything. Every minute of rest stolen from the ancestors, from the mothers, I am reclaiming. Every ounce of rest, every ounce of joy, every ounce of pleasure, every hour, every dime of wages shrouded under the romantic dogma of marriage and romance, so you can steal my labor. Every minute of labor stolen from women, every ounce of rest, every speck of sanity stolen from us. Baby, all of it. I am coming back for. I am reclaiming for the mothers. Every bit of it. Every bit of it. Every goddamn bit of it. Every minuscule, microscopic inch of it. I'm coming back for. I am reclaiming for my mothers. So yes, motherfucker, I'm going to take this 3-hour nap today. My big mama worked for it. My mother slaved for it. My great grandmother ached for it. The betrayal that I talked about earlier, when that super spiritual, pro-black conscious motherfucker came and invaded my home to betray me in the act of sex, he has to pay. He has to pay. Every man that has betrayed a woman sexually has to pay. There is there is something that has been stolen from that woman in that moment. Her confidence, her ability to feel fully cared for and embodied in the moment. Yes, bitch, even if it's a one-night stand. Yep. Everything that's been stolen from women, Everything that's been stolen from us, I am reclaiming on behalf of the mothers. Everything. And we have a responsibility to do that. We women. Men's roles in that process and others, we are the womb carriers. We are the personification in the flesh of all the potentialities that exist going forward and into the past. We are the fates. We are the weavers of the threads of destiny. That is us. That's us. Even if we don't have babies, even if we don't intend to have babies, we are the portal carriers from one realm to the next. We are. So even males and even others have a responsibility. Have a responsibility. It is all of our mothers, males' mothers, others' mothers, who have done the brunt of the suffering on earth for the last 6,000 years. You all got a mama. You all have to thank for your existence some portal holding human who saw fit to allow you to live. Who saw fit to allow you to live? You have some portal holding person to thank for that. You have some uterus carrying human to thank for your ability to breathe, even though everything you say out your mouth is a blasphemy against her. This heaviness that we are experiencing, this moon that we have just transitioned through, and I say through because this new moon, which was the last new moon of the official year, right? The last new moon of the official year, we will feel the weight of this bitch until the end of September. We will feel the weight of this new moon until the end of September. The potential of this new moon in Pisces that we just transitioned through should make you happy. It should be exciting because the opposing fish represent the possibilities presented by two extremes: the deep and the shallow, the light and the dark, the male and the female, the divine and the wicked. It represents the potentials presented by these two extremes. And potential is based on the leaning towards one potential or the other, one extreme or the other, is based on action. It's based on action. It's based on action. So ask yourself, what is the action that I am going to take in these 6 months? What is the place? Where is the place that I am going to exist in these next 6 months? What is the energy that I will carry in these next 6 months? What is the dream I am going to dream for the whole in these next 6 months? What is the motherfucking jack move that I am going to execute, not just for myself, but for the whole in these next 6 months? What's the jack move I want to execute to ensure the future? What is the conspiracy that I will actively participate in carrying out to ensure a certain future in the midst of madness that we're all feeling in our bodies? The death that I have been experiencing in my bed every morning is the death that is actually happening in the world right now. But the time is different because that death has always existed. We just hip to Congo. I ain't just hip to Congo. But a lot of new people, a lot of young people are just getting hip to what's happening in Congo, are just getting hip to what's happening in Rwanda, are getting hip to what's happening in Israel, are just getting hip to these things that have been unending without a break. war, religious war, yeah, famine, goddamn genocide. These things have been, there ain't been a break in this bitch in a very long time. There ain't been a break in this bitch in a very long time, if ever. The timing is different. The distractions can no longer distract because the mother is speaking through these distractions. Yo, IG, yo, fucking Facebook, yo, TikTok. I woke up this morning to distract myself from what I was feeling as this pressure in my chest of death, to go and find this comment. And I was just going to listen to myself talk to see what the mother had to say while I was washing dishes or whatever the fuck. And she was like, nah, park your ass. I have something to say. I have something to say to you today. The distractions no longer distract, like me getting this phone call at 6 o'clock in the morning yesterday with the same feeling, looking at the ceiling, not wanting to get out of bed, baby, subdued by the feeling of death is coming. The end is near, right here in my bedroom. To have this man call me at 6 o'clock in the morning that I have not talked to in 2 years, and to feel in my spirit after talking to him for 20 minutes, okay, it's done. Okay, it's finished. Okay, it's closed. Right? That's why I got on that diatribe about sex. I can go off about it, but that's why. I didn't know it. I thought it was just going to be a nice, good time, and it was about time for me to have sex again. This particular person I had to have sex with. This particular person had to be so interested in making sure that I was experiencing him in a good way, constantly checking in. What feels good to you? What do you need? So that those rigid ass fucking blocks on my goddamn core chakras were fucking softened and removed, because I had been carrying around so much rage and fear that I still didn't know I was still carrying around until they were deconstructed in the moment. And it gave rise to something bigger that I'll have to share with you on another day. These things are not disconnected. This man calling me yesterday, it threw me. And so I didn't go into it. I didn't lean into it until I got on this call with you today. Until I got on this call, I was like, oh shit, that's what happened yesterday. While we were still in the crest, the 24-hour crest of the new moon. I'm just telling you to pay attention. I'm just telling you to pay attention. I'm telling you this thing that happened on Saturday, the eve of the new moon with the Harriet Tubman event. And I was like, well, I'm not going to be demoralized. You know what I'm saying? There ain't nobody here. It's an hour later. I'm just going to use the space. I'm going to talk to my peoples. I'm going to have a little temple service. You feel me? I was cute and shit. You feel me? 3 people walked in. And let me tell you what the first question was. I'm talking about Harriet Tubman and her revolutionary, evolutionary contributions to humanity. Let me tell you what the first question was. I'm talking to people as an introduction about Harriet Tubman and why I'm doing this event. And that we celebrate Harriet Tubman Day on the 10th because we know she died March 10th of 1914. But we don't know when her birthday was, only that she was born in March, but we don't know the day of her birth. So we always celebrate Harriet Tubman's birth and death day on the day that we know she transitioned, March 10th, 1914. That was my introduction. That's why we're here today. The brother that was 21, the young boy, he said, this was the first question in a political event, at an event I was promoting as a political event. He said, I have a question. He said, do you think, based on her life, that Harriet Tubman was a Pisces or an Aries? Y'all, this young 21-year-old African asked me about our mama, our yay, our mommy, Harriet Tubman. And the first question he wanted to know is, do you think, based on her life, do you think she was a Pisces or an Aries? That was the most profound question asked of the day. I said, damn, let me think about this for a minute. But do you know why this question is so profound? Do you know why this question is so profound? Look at, anyway, I ain't gonna, yeah, exact. Come on in the room. Yes, god damn it. LYMC Chic says she was on the cusp. She was a cusper. Yes, she was. Yes, she was. The reason the question was so profound was because we are on the cusp. Humanity is on the cusp. We are on the cusp. What are we on the cusp of? Pisces and Aquarius, the other direction, right? We are on the cusp. This leaving of one age and being born into another. So everything is so deliberate. Let me tell you. So I was sitting here looking at the time. I was like, damn, I got to get off of here because I have two more lives scheduled for today. So let me just do, I have two more lives scheduled for today. The reason I'm saying everything is so deliberate and so purposeful. The next one I put up is for 12:50, but that wasn't on purpose. I didn't realize until I went to confirm that it was on 12:50, and I meant to do it at 12. But I couldn't do it at 12, obviously, because I had more to share with you than I intended on this one. So the next one is scheduled for 12:50. The next live is scheduled for 12:50. But while I have you on here, I need to tell you that we're not going to have book club this week. I think we're not going to have book club this week. I know y'all are sad about that, but I will tell you this. I will tell you very briefly why we're not having book club this week. I have been planning so many back-to-back events, but I told y'all I was going to be doing that. I was going to be trying to book a lot of events this year to build the committee locally, to build the temple locally, so that I am not spread so thin. You know, the discussion about the master multitasking, about the inability to rest, and about how the mother doesn't have the opportunity to do her best work because your ass is constantly executing, doing, urgency, all of that shit. I told y'all at the beginning of the year how I was experiencing this. You can see it. I know you can if you pay attention. You can hear the difference if you pay attention. If you go back to all of these freaking videos that y'all are sending me of mine that I've done over the last 2 or 3 years, and you're saying, listen to this, you're telling me on my video to listen to this timestamp. This is what really moved me about this video you did 2 years ago or a year ago or whatever, knowing that I will go right to that timestamp and rewatch it because the mother has something for me in it. The mother has something for me in it, right? And you can go back to these videos and see the difference from the me that presents to you since the new year started. It was the first thing that I drew my own attention to when I did that very first live of the new year. I said, I'm different. And this difference I don't like. I had been working in December damn near every day. I think I might have taken 5 days off in the whole month of December. I moved into January the same way. I was not doing lives consistently because I did not feel her the same way. She did not come through me the same way. She didn't. And it was because the complications of what we all have, daily life, right? The executing of that which is going to keep us safe, meaning housed and, and on the road and able to go to work and all of this shit I had fallen into. And I felt the difference in how I communicated, how open I was to allow her to come through the same way that she had. And I'm saying this because this other thing, this commitment that I made to do these events, to build the local committee so that I have a regular ongoing group of people that I can pull from to show up logistically as I'm doing these events. Me, like the couples retreat I just did a few weeks ago, when I came into the space, I was like, this can't happen this way again. There is something deep and profound that I need to communicate to human beings. I cannot be executing logistically all the way up into the moment that I'm supposed to be facilitating a meditation. I cannot. The preachers don't have to do that. The preachers can sit for 2 hours before the church service happens in ceremony, in prayer with spirit, to be divinely guided. You know what I'm saying? To give the word to the many. Meanwhile, I was executing logistically, literally all the way up to the moment that I had to try to pull myself back into myself in some Zen type fashion to facilitate a meditation for a couples retreat. That can't happen. Executing logistically all the way up into the instant that a woman came into the Harriet Tubman event. That can't happen. So in my mind, it was the execution, the necessary execution of many events this year that would build the temple locally, that would galvanize interest in participating in a material way, in a real way, in building the temple so that I was not spread so thin. That ain't it either. That's not it either. That's not it either. That's not the way. I had baby, when I tell you, I damn near had an event a month planned for this year. These first big events that I've done this year, I was like, nope, that can't, because that's my old way too, as a revolutionary organizer. That's my old MO as a revolutionary organizer. Can't do that either. Can't do that either. That's why it was important for me to talk to you about what Harriet was forced to do, what she had to do, and the consequence of that which she had to do, the sacrifice, the sleeplessness, the functioning in urgency, the freeing up fucking space that she and all these radical feminist female activists have done for the last 100, 200 years, and on and on and on. It is gifted us with an opportunity in the West to rely on with confidence, to take advantage of with confidence, that that's the thing that we need. It is our opposition that has imposed on us urgency, timelessness, restlessness, so that we cannot become. so that we cannot hear her, so that we cannot be a well-rested instrument through which she does her best work. So we take up the mantle of urgency, struggle. We do that. That is not us. That is not our lot in life, to be mules for the movement, or to be mules for spirituality, or it's not. It is to thank our mothers and to rest on their behalf. It is to take back that which was stolen from them: time, joy, pleasure, happiness, sex, orgasms. With every time I climax, I am climaxing on behalf of someone that was denied her. That's a prayer she had been denied. That's a ceremony she had been denied. That's a rite and a ritual she had been denied, not being able to experience full, unbridled ecstasy. That's a prayer she had been denied. That is a betrayal that had been imposed on her. That is a theft of her essence that happened to her. I want you to know that everything I talked to you about today is purposeful, tied, connected. It is. So I can't do it. I have an event that I am planning next week. This has been an event twice, 2 in 1 month, but I've done an event a month since the new year started while still working crazy hours, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning and shit. 4 events since the new year started. And then this another one coming up next week. I'm not going to do it. This event I'm doing next week, I'm doing. It is purposeful. But all of these events that I had planned for April and June and July, I'm telling you, ambitious. Now, back in the day, I could have done it. When I was in Tampa, I was literally doing an event a month. Ask anybody. I was literally doing an event a month. As a matter of fact, in March, while I was in Tampa, I did an event every week for Women's History Month. Every week, every year in March, I was doing an event. I had the capacity to do that in Tampa, because I always had brothers and sisters that would show up to function as logistical committees. A logistical committee. I don't have that here. And what I have to count on, what I have to rely on, what I have to believe in, what I have to be certain of is that the mother is going to create the base that functions as a logistical support committee. But this thing that I have been doing, this way that I have been functioning, I reject it. I refuse it. So this event that I'm doing this coming week, I will tell you minimally about, because it is short notice and I'm still trying to consolidate 3 more people to participate. But the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence, one of the ambitions of this year was to begin the process of actually building in real time what that looks like, what membership looks like, what it means to become a member of the temple, what will be the requirements to become a member of the temple, what are the varying degrees of membership, what is the level of commitment that you have to the temple. And I have been working on for a very long time, even before I built the temple, this idea of what an initiation into the mother would be, a rebirth through the mother would be, what it would need, what it would entail. And so the opportunity has been afforded me to use this person's land for that to be the experiment. So this Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday coming around the equinox, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I will be facilitating an equinox ceremony for the spring equinox. I talked to you guys about that minimally when I talked about the liver season last week. There's a couple other things I wanted to tell you about that. But when I talked to you guys about 5 elements theory and that we were going to focus on the liver, the wood element, because we're in a wood dragon year and we're entering into the wood season, because the equinox is the epitome of our official entry into the wood season or the wood element season, I am doing a pretty radical ritual that is going to function in two ways. For those who are participating locally that are not members of the temple, are not really interested in becoming members of the temple, they support me, right? They support what I do. Like, we fuck with you because you Cassandra and you our friend, you feel me? Then for them, it's just going to be an equinox ceremony. The other half of that, or the other part of that, is that it is going to be the first execution of what will be one of the initiations for those who want to become members, official members of the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. So the ritual that I have established, I've developed, and then this will be the place that we can work out the details, add, take away, what's too much, what's not enough. But this is going to be the execution of what will be the initiation into the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. And what I mean by the term initiation, I mean, how do we simultaneously, metaphorically, die in our personification as children of Christ, or children of Judaistic religions, children of patriarchy? How do we metaphorically die as children of patriarchy? Those religions typically are the progenitors of that, right? We are told that we're born in sin, we're born filthy, we're all born in need of a savior, and our physical birth is our evil birth, our sinful birth, and that the only way that we can ensure our transition into a heavenly realm is to be reborn in the blood of Jesus. So we get saved and then we get baptized in the water. There's supposed to be a representative or representation of being born in Jesus. And now we're good. Now we're saved. Now we're covered. And I was like, okay, we need to be performing a ritual that functions in a myriad of ways. We need a ritual that functions as an exorcism of that shit, a purging of that shit, that spell that's been cast on us by these traditions, by patriarchy. We need an exorcism from that shit. We need also to lay in the earth that which we do not want to carry into the future. We need to actually do it physically. See, when they baptize you, that is an idea manifest in this physical world. This idea that you're born filthy and you need to be reborn and you need to be cleansed, that's executed in the real world. That's executed physically, and it's executed in front of a group that can verify. They are there to witness this oath that you are taking. So we can't just be about metaphors, ideology, and philosophy. We have to counter that shit in the real world, in ritual. And so this is what we're executing next week. Half the group will participate in the ceremony on Monday, while the others guide, protect, care for, and lead through. And then the groups will switch on Tuesday. We'll be doing a specific ritual at the peak of the equinox, which is 8:05 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then we will execute the initiation process, or the equinox ritual, for the next group. And then we'll close out the whole ceremony upon rising on Wednesday when we leave the land. This is what's going to happen. So I think that moving forward, the only other things that I'm going to do this year, quote, event-wise, is I will do this same initiation process. I'll facilitate the same initiation process during the summer solstice in June, during the fall equinox in the fall, and during the winter solstice, right? So I'll initiate these. I'll do these initiations. I'll facilitate these initiations on the equinoxes and the solstices this year. We have to plan this witches revival for November 19th of 2024. That's non-negotiable. And we have to, and then there's another event that I want to do this year in conjunction with the winter solstice, in recognition of global orgasm day. So I talked to y'all about that a little last year, but just being really deliberate and purposeful about what we're using our orgasms for, like what space we're going into and that kind of thing. So that's it. That's what I'm going to do. The next event that I will do after this spring equinox initiation / ritual, the next thing that I will do is for the summer solstice. And then the next thing after that will be for the fall equinox. Then the next thing after that will be the November 19th, witches rave or witches revival, whatever we gonna do, the jack move we need to pull. And then after that is the winter solstice and global orgasm day. That's all I'm doing. That's it. So if you find a way, you see a way, you hear a way that you can be involved in the execution of those things, hit me up at releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that. The book club, I will resume, but this week, me planning this this equinox initiation / ritual, it's all consuming in my head. It's when I say it's all consuming. And I can't, I'm just not, I'm not in a space to, I'm not in a space to do that this week. I'm not in space to do the book club this week. So in the future too, I think, we talked about it on the book club. I think in the future, we're going to, so that it can be consistent, I think, I'll identify people that can facilitate on the days that I'm absent. If that comes up, like tomorrow, I'm not gonna be able to do it. So I want to identify people that can, with an agenda, show up and facilitate in my absence. You know what I'm saying? Give you access to my my Zoom account, and do that. Yeah, so no Pure Lust book club tomorrow. And I hope something in here was helpful. I hope something in here was came through as a word. I'm probably gonna reschedule. I know y'all don't want to hear me say it, but I'm probably gonna reschedule the 12:50 live for later. Okay, good. I'm glad you agree, Shauna Michelle. That's what's up. So yeah, so let's talk about that through email, people that have been actively participating in the book club. Let's talk about how we can get other women to take turns and facilitate. And yeah, it'll be nice sometimes for me to be the observer and not the leader. Yeah, so I would like to see that happen. All right. So thank you so much, Soulflower. Soulflower, thank you too for tuning in. Thank you. And I saw that you said you left a message for my future self. I am anxious to see what that is. But thank you, because you were, what do you call it? The instigator, if you will, of today's live this morning. I haven't even eaten breakfast or nothing. I got right up to get right up on here, and you were the initiating force for that. So I appreciate you calling me back to myself. Yeah. So I will also call on you all to do, to share these videos regularly and often. If you are moved, if you resonated with anything that I said, if you know in your body that what I described in the beginning is something that is happening to you with no explanation, then trust that it is happening to many with no explanation. There's no way that we can live in a world where we don't feel each other anymore, because Aquarius, aka Shango, Oya, aka Pluto, are listening, digging the trenches, moving the debris out of the way. We feel each other deeply, and the each other's feelings that we are feeling is deep and mournful. It's deep and mournful. So somebody asked if it was death or emotional. It's everything. It's all the things. It's not just the death of the victimized in genocides and war. It is the death throes of the old age. It is the death of power, the way we understand it. It is the death of oppression, the way we understand it. They're fearful too, those in power. They're fearful too, those who have held the reins on power for so long. They're fearful too. We are experiencing it all. And in the absence of an explanation, people may come to the wrong conclusions. I'm talking about the increase in suicide that we're experiencing right now. I'm talking about the increase in violence that we're experiencing right now. This urgency, this radicalism, this rabid behavior, these are all expressions of the urgency that are reactionary, because there is no one nowhere offering an explanation of what we're experiencing, that we are leaping both feet first into a new age, and chaos defines it, but we can guide it instead of being led by it. We can direct it if we know what it is we're experiencing. If we know in our body that the urgency is a response to the inevitable end of one period and the simultaneous entry into another. That if people know that they're not crazy, that they don't need to be on psychotropic drugs, that I'm not losing my mind. No, you're hearing voices because you're experiencing oneness, and it's terrifying because distractions have kept us from oneness. Now we're feeling everybody's shit. That's what the establishment of oneness is. Now we're hearing everybody. We're feeling everybody. We're feeling their pain and despair. We're feeling their hopes and their joys. We're feeling their dreams. And we think it's everything that's just happening in our mind. No. This is a defining feature of this new age, that baby, we are leaping both the feet fuck up in quick, fast, and in a hurry. This is it. And so share any video that has moved you, that has spoken to you specifically. Somebody sent me another comment this morning and said, oh my God. I think it was the same sister, Soulflower Soul. Everything you said in this 1 minute, I have literally said out of my mouth before, damn near word for word. If that's been your experience, then know that she is the thing that connects us. That's why so many of our experiences are so fucking identical. It is to teach us that we are not alone in the world, that we are not, quote, black sheeps of the family, that we are not, quote, the oddball out, the weirdos in the midst, that there are many of us out in the world attempting to connect dots, attempting to link up, attempting to end our isolation, which is needed for us to facilitate and usher in this new world. That is needed. These connections are needed for us to become the functional midwives who assist the birth of the new age. That's what our role is. That's what our role is. Male, female, or other, doesn't matter. How do we function as the midwives? Children, elders, how do we function as the midwives to usher in a peaceful birth of the new age? That's our role, but we have to know what the job description is. We have to know what the diagnosis is before we can heal that which we are experiencing. So that's all I got to say about that. I appreciate you. I just discovered you this week. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much, Soulflower Soul, for tuning in, for joining, for logging in, for showing up, and again for drawing my attention to that video this morning. It was impactful. It was profound. It was profound. This is what it looks like. This is what it looks like. This is what I imagine every new religion began as, was the coming together in a sea, those that are like-minded, those that are having the same experiences, those that stand out in a sea of normalcy. This is what I imagine it started out as. Wild, big ideas, unimaginable. How are we going to set this shit off? How are we going to make it happen? So I'm going to probably reschedule this next live, I think, which was the reading of the parable of the sower. I'll do it a little later today. I have another live scheduled at 3. So I may schedule this next one for 4. The reading of the parable of the sower. I am going to read it today. So I'll read for an hour the parable of the sower. Check your notifications. I think I'm going to do it at 4. But share this. Share every video that touches you. Share it. Whenever you see clips or shorts on my YouTube channel, make sure to share them on your TikTok. That's not a lot to ask. Yes, if you want to make contributions and donations, yes, we need that. We need that. Right? But if you never have a penny to contribute, you can commit to share a video a week, 2 videos a week, or find your favorite one and share it to 10 different people. That you can do. That you can do. But I haven't heard, it doesn't mean they aren't out there, but I haven't heard any explanation for what we're experiencing. I haven't heard any solution, any way forward that is steeped in real world interaction, activity, and what that looks like. What is the world going to look like? What is the event that's going to jumpstart this motherfucker? So share my shit. Share my shit. You understand? If you are moved, it means others will be moved. Share it. Disseminate it far and wide. Y'all remember this sister? What's her name? Alexis K. I think that's her name. She was big back in the 90s. She had a NPR, like a public radio, a public television show called, I think it was called Pussy Power or Vagina Power or something like that. She was big in Atlanta back in the day. Funny, but she had a hella following. Well, a friend of mine hit me up about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago and was like, yo, Alexis K just shared your shit on her YouTube channel. I was like, what? Like the Alexis K? It was like, yeah, she just shared your video on a video that she did about the Sibyls. I was like, okay. Let me tell you what happened. Because she's got, a decent amount of followers. I think 40,000 followers when I checked. She wild. Like, she always been crazy in a good way. Crazy in a good way. I used to watch that damn show on the Atlanta station. She crazy, but she got a hella following. And so I went back to listen to the video that she did talking about the Sibyls and how she just discovered the Sibyls, but after reading the book, the Sibyls, she come to find out that she had always been communicating. The Sibyls had always been the mother had always been communicating to her through her, right? And then on one of her, you know how on YouTube you can do like a post. It's just still, it's not a video. You can just do a post, like updates, blah, blah, blah. She shared my channel. She shared as a matter of fact, she shared that I read the book, The Sibyls, online. If people wanted to, find somebody reading the book, that I'd read the book online. Baby, that week, in 1 week, I got 230 followers. And that week, like subscribers, I got 232, 233 new subscribers in that 1 week that she shared my video. So share my shit. The other thing I would like to do is the brother, what's his name? Black 363. I think that's his name. That does the station. I've met him before because I organized the Black Power Awards, but I would like to be interviewed on the show. Send him my shit. It can't come from me, right? Send him a video. Say, I think this sister's got a really good take on the Sibyls or whatever. Send him my shit. If you find somebody that has, interests that are similar to the ones that we talk about, share my shit with them. That's all I'm gonna say about that. My name is Cassandra Faye Floyd. I'm also known as the Daughter of the Fates, founder of the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. I'm going to reschedule the next live for a little later today, so I will talk to you then. In the meantime, take care. Be open. If you live near open bodies of water, go make an offering today. If you're brave enough, get in the water, and be mindful that even though the new moon in Pisces has passed, we are in the flow of that energy until the last week in September. Take advantage of it. It is big energy. It is big opportunity. It represents all potentialities, all extremes of potentialities. So let's see. I just started watching 6 months ago, and I was starting a woman's church, and to find someone doing just that. Yes. Okay. So thank you all again for tuning in. And I will talk to you a little later today. All right. Peace.